Climate change is one of the major challenges of our time. In Africa, climate change is considered one of the biggest threats to the continent's development, and its adverse impacts have been magnified by the COVID-19 pandemic and the implications of the geopolitical tensions. Unfortunately, its widespread and accelerating effects fall disproportionately on the poorest and most vulnerable. Africa needs annual inflows of around $277 billion to implement its nationally determined contributions and meets its 2030 climate goals. Yet, it receives annual inflows of about $30 billion. This investment gap amplifies the need for unlocking additional resources to build climate-resilient economies in Africa. As a prerequisite, the public sector is required to set clear strategies that support the green growth agenda, create data infrastructures to reduce information asymmetries, identify opportunities for the private sector involvement, and prioritize sectorial needs. Creating an accommodating, enabling environment might not be enough. Currently, debt accounts for more than half of climate finance, which increases already high debt vulnerabilities amid macroeconomic challenges facing emerging economies. Therefore, there is an urgent call for scaling up the alternative resources of climate finance and de-risking climate investments in order to facilitate further financial flows. During its presidency of the COP27, Egypt worked with all stakeholders in order to innovate solutions for the climate finance gap. This has resulted in a number of finance-related initiatives that mainly target capitalizing on global coalitions in order to improve quantity and quality of climate finance contributions. I would like to encourage all African nations to explore further collaborations and means aimed at utilizing those initiatives to deliver a better future for the upcoming generations in Africa. Some of these initiatives include Food and Agriculture for Sustainable Transformation, Decent Life Initiative for Climate Resilient Africa, Friends of Greening National Investment Plans, Reducing the Cost of Green and Sustainable Borrowing, Sustainable Debt Coalition, Africa, Just and Affordable Energy Transition, and Global Renewable Hydrogen Forum. In Egypt, we have strong conviction that the banking sector, the backbone of the economy, should play a pivotal role in spurring transformation process. Accordingly, the Central Bank of Egypt has demonstrated strong commitment to developing a more sustainable banking sector through building its own capacity through the membership of multiple organizations such as Network for Greening Financial Systems, Sustainable Banking and Finance Network, and the European Organization for Sustainable Development. Releasing the Sustainable Financing Guiding Principles, which pave the way for banks towards a slow and steady transition to more sustainable practices. Conducting the Sustainable Finance Gap Analysis to assess the sector's current stance, identify the challenges and opportunities in adopting sustainable practices, and also to inform the policy-making process. Issuing binding regulations on sustainable finance, which aims at integrating sustainability and sustainable finance in the banking sector's DNA. Also, we cannot ignore the role of DFIs, MDBs, and climate funds as the largest source of public climate finance in Africa. Their role is indispensable in maintaining the private sector investors' confidence through their contributions in the mobilization of private finance and the de-risking process of the projects. Development partners also have an increasingly central role in supporting the objective on national development plans emphasizing the SDGs. Their strategies are of the utmost importance in ensuring the current and the future vulnerability of African economies are addressed optimally. Finally, I hope that our discussion during 2023 AFDB's Group annual meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh will have a positive impact on the way forward on the climate agenda in the continent, through finding innovative ways and means in unlocking further resources.